The transverse tarsal joint is formed by the articulation of the calcaneus with the cuboid and the articulation of the talus with the navicular. The movement which takes place in this joint is more extensive than that in the other tarsal joints and consists of a sort of rotation by means of which the foot may be slightly flexed or extended, the sole being at the same time carried medially, inverted, or laterally, everted. The ligaments connecting the calcaneus and navicular. Though the calcaneus and navicular do not directly articulate, they are connected by two ligaments, the calcaneo-navicular part of the bifurcated and the plantar calcaneo-navicular. The calcaneo-navicular part of the bifurcated ligament is described on page 354. The plantar calcaneo-navicular ligament. Ligamentum calcaneo-naviculare plantare. Inferior or internal calcaneo-navicular ligament. Calcaneo-navicular ligament. The plantar calcaneo-navicular ligament is a broad and thick band of fibres, which connects the anterior margin of the sustenaculum tali of the calcaneus to the plantar surface of the navicular. This ligament not only serves to connect the calcaneus and navicular, but supports the head of the talus, forming part of the articular cavity in which it is received. The dorsal surface of the ligament presents a fibrocartilaginous facet, lined by the synovial membrane, and upon this a portion of the head of the talus rests. Its plantar surface is supported by the tendon of the tibialis posterior. Its medial border is blended with the forepart of the deltoid ligament of the ankle joint. The plantar calcaneo-navicular ligament, by supporting the head of the talus, is principally concerned in maintaining the arch of the foot. When it yields, the head of the talus is pressed downward, medialward, and forward by the weight of the body, and the foot becomes flattened, expanded, and turned lateralward, and exhibits the condition known as flat foot. This ligament contains a considerable amount of elastic fibres, so as to give elasticity to the arch and spring to the foot. Hence it is sometimes called the spring ligament. It is supported on its plantar surface by the tendon of the tibialis posterior, which spreads out at its insertion into a number of fasciculi, to be attached to most of the tarsal and metatarsal bones. This prevents undue stretching of the ligament, and is a protection against the occurrence of flat foot. Hence, muscular weakness is, in most cases, the primary cause of the deformity. Cuneo-navicular articulation. Articulatio cuneo-navicularis. Articulation of the navicular with the cuneiform bones. The navicular is connected to the three cuneiform bones by dorsal and plantar ligaments. The dorsal ligaments, ligamenta naviculari cuneiformia dorsalia. The dorsal ligaments are three small bundles, one attached to each of the cuneiform bones. The bundle connecting the navicular with the first cuneiform is continuous around the medial side of the articulation with the plantar ligament which unites these two bones. The plantar ligaments, ligamenta naviculari cuneiformia plantaria. The plantar ligaments have a similar arrangement to the dorsal and are strengthened by slips from the tendon of the tibialis posterior. Synovial membrane. The synovial membrane of these joints is part of the great tarsal synovial membrane. Movements. Mere gliding movements are permitted between the navicular and the cuneiform bones. Cuboideo-navicular articulation. The navicular bone is connected with the cuboid by dorsal, plantar, and interosseous ligaments. The dorsal ligament. Ligamentum cuboideo-naviculari dorsali. The dorsal ligament extends obliquely forward and lateralward from the navicular to the cuboid bone. The plantar ligament. Ligamentum cuboideo-naviculari plantari. The plantar ligament passes nearly transversely between these two bones. The interosseous ligament. The interosseous ligament consists of strong transverse fibres and connects the rough non-articular portions of the adjacent surfaces of the two bones. Synovial membrane. The synovial membrane of this joint is part of the great tarsal synovial membrane. Movements. The movements permitted between the navicular and cuboid bones are limited to a slight gliding upon each other. Intercuneiform and cuneo-cuboid articulations. The three cuneiform bones and the cuboid are connected together by dorsal, plantar, and interosseous ligaments. The dorsal ligaments, ligamenta intercuneiformia dorsalia. The dorsal ligaments consist of three transverse bands. One connects the first with the second cuneiform, another the second with the third cuneiform, and another the third cuneiform with the cuboid. The plantar ligaments, ligamenta intercuneiformia plantaria. The plantar ligaments have a similar arrangement to the dorsal and are strengthened by slips from the tendon of the tibialis posterior. The interosseous ligaments, ligamenta intercuneiformia interossea. The interosseous ligaments consist of strong transverse fibres which pass between the rough non-articular portions of the adjacent surfaces of the bones. Synovial membrane. The synovial membrane of these joints is part of the great tarsal synovial membrane. Movements. The movements permitted between these bones are limited to a slight gliding upon each other. End of section 21. Recording by the Bodster.